Hey everybody, we're down here in the garden this morning. We got down here last night. We had an order. It was a large order. Guy ordered 22 bushels of beans, and we picked about 3.5 bushel of the volunteer half runners, and we got about 2 bushel of aroma beans. We're gonna go through here on our burgundy beans. The fellow said he had never heard of them, and I'm gonna pick him a 1/2 bushel to take and let him try them to see if his customers like them. He's a wholesaler. You know, I don't like to sell to wholesalers, but he's gonna put our name on them, and he's buying them off of us for full price as to what we sell them for. So you know, you can't beat that. But we're gonna go through and pick about a 1/2 bushel of burgundy beans. It'll go quick because they're hanging full. They need to be picked. We're going to walk through our cucumbers and stuff and see whatever needs to be picked. You know, I seen a few larger ones on the way down. I figured I would pick the beans first and then put the cucumbers in on top. We're going to get everything fed up and watered and deliver what beans we have picked, and then we're going to head over to the auction. It's about 1.5 hours from us. We like to go over there. We pick up rabbits and stuff from there. You know, sometimes they'll go cheap. You just have to watch, because we have bought some chickens there that were sickly and have to doctor them back. But we don't buy chickens from there anymore. We raise our own. But we do pick up rabbits. We buy rabbits from the place, the younger rabbits. You can usually get them for a few dollars, and we'll get them and grow them out up here, and we process them or sell them to people to process. So we'll get to picking on these beans. A lot of these beans are big. I mean, they're ready. We picked about 1 gallon for us, but man, they're on strong. They need to be picked. They are plumb full. Still a lot of young ones, but I mean, once we pick these, there's still a lot of blooms coming on. A lot of people, they'll say that the blooms die off in the summer, but we've not really had a summer. I mean, it's not been, we've had a few warm days, but it's not been that hot. And ours just kept right on blooming through it. And we're gonna let them do their thing. Last year we planted a late harvest of half runners. We planted them at the end of August, I think, and we got beans off of them. I mean, they grew. You know, this year we're just going to let these here grow right on. They're real pretty beans. These here I like. Next year we'll probably plant a few extra rows of these if people like them, because I like them. They're real pretty vines. They're a good looking bean. I mean, that's about as pretty a bean as you'll see. And they come on good. They have a lot of food. They bear a lot. We didn't plant that many of them. We just had, I don't know, 1/2 bottle or so. But they grew really well. So we're going to get these picked, and then we'll get up and show you where the cucumbers is at, and we'll get back to you. All right, we got our 1/2 bushel of burgundy beans. They're real nice beans. Didn't get eat up at all. I mean, they're good looking beans. These here, they're a sweet bean. They're really good. We got those picked out. Now we'll walk up here and take a look at our cucumbers. It took us about, I don't know, 8 or 10 minutes, if that, to get this 1/2 bushel. They pick quick because they're a good heavy bean. They're not little spindly things. There's our corn. It's growing good. We fertilized it, I don't know, a week ago. It's popped up good. The dog's been out in it playing. Here's our potatoes. We planted these here, and these were the ones that we didn't know if they'd grow or not, but man, they're popping up. We went through the other day and healed them up, and they're growing, so we'll have us some late taters, Lord willing. Our pink tips, they're starting to want to vine out. Won't be long, they'll be climbing up these trellises, and we'll be down here picking them things too. Our gourds, they're growing good. They're all over the fence. They're growing good. Hopefully we'll get a few out of that. So we'll set our basket down here, see what we got. Our peas didn't do nothing, but they got out late, so we wasn't really worried too much about them. We'll do them next year and try to get them in early. There's a nice one. That's the cucumbers we're after. These are straight 8s. A lot of people, they like them a little bigger, but I like them smaller. They taste a little better. We got several smaller ones on. Just a few days and them will be ready. There's another. Let's see. I've seen over in them plants there was a bunch. I didn't check these here real well. But they're finally starting to take off and produce some food. I didn't know if they were going to or not. There's a few little ones. There's one that's almost ready. It could probably stand another day or two. Yeah, we'll leave it to go another day or two. Get a little size to it. Let's see. There's one. It's a pretty decent one. We'll go ahead and get it off of there. They'll hide from you. Cucumbers, they'll grow where you don't think they are. And you'll miss them, and if you miss them and they start to turn yellow, they ain't no good. They get too big. I don't mind them. I'll eat them anyways, but the people you sell to, they may not like them like that. We've got a few coming on. Pretty decent little slicing cucumbers. People like those right there. They seem to like them really well. We'll get these washed up, and I don't know, we're probably going to end up with probably 20 or 25 cucumbers out of here today. There's a bunch in here. So we'll get these picked out and see if we can't get everything cleaned up, and when we get back to you, we'll probably be on our way to the auction. Alright, we're pulling into the auction now. Took us about a little while longer than what we had originally planned. We're going to get in here and see if we can't get us a parking spot. Looks like they've got a lot of sellers here today. So we'll get in here and get us a spot and see if we can't get some videos of some of the animals and stuff put on here and let y'all see what we're looking at buying today. We made it. We're walking around looking at all the animals and stuff. They're still selling eggs in there. They usually bring big piles of eggs in there. We don't need no eggs. We got all kinds. We're just walking around looking at the animals. They got a couple longhorns here. If we had the room, these right here would probably go home with us because they're pretty. They're pretty nice. I'd like to have some of those, but we don't have the pasture for those right now. They usually run a few hogs through here. I don't see any pigs out here, and they run a few cows. But we'll see what they got. We may end up getting a few small animals. I don't know that we'll get any cows or anything like that today, but that's a nice beef right there. We'll just have to see what they got. Well, we just left the auction and we kind of did a thing. We bought a few chickens and a few rabbits, but they'll go to the sale. We go up and we set up and sell at a little farm market, and there was too good of a deal for me to pass up. I'm a sucker for a good deal. I always buy good deals. So we bought a few chickens and a few rabbits. When we get to the house, if it's not too late, we'll kick some lights on in the building, and we'll show you what we got. They're pretty nice. We looked at them as we was loading them in the vehicle, and they're pretty nice for what they was. So we'll make this hour-and-a-half trip to the house, and we'll get back to you and show you what we got. Alright, we just got home. It's late. Lord, it's almost 11 o'clock. But we're going to get some of these animals out of these boxes. This is what they put the animals in when they sell them. We got 2 hens here. They're pretty nice. They're not real old. You can tell their legs ain't real bad messed up. They got good weight to them. They're not snotty-nosed or anything. These were some of the nicer ones. We got these pens in here we keep chickens and stuff in when we get animals like this, to keep them segregated from the others so that we don't spread disease. It's happened. So you want to make sure you keep them segregated for a few days to make sure that they don't have any illnesses or anything. This one here, she's got a little rough feathers, but she's really nice. Look there, we even got a surprise. So we know one of them's laying good. She's a real nice hen. She's not snotty-nosed. She's a fairly young hen. You can see she's not real bad scaly-legged. She's got good weight to her. She's a little crooked-breasted, but she's a nice hen. She's got a few feathers that's kind of messed up, but all in all, that's a really nice hen. A lot of these you don't know what they are, but they're good brown egg-laying hens. I try not to buy white hens. They lay the white eggs, but I'm not a white egg person. I like the brown eggs. Let's see what else we got here. We ended up with I think we ended up with 7 hens and five rabbits. These 2 here was probably the worst of the ones as far as lips go, only because they were missing feathers. They've had a rough year. They're not snotty-nosed though. They feel really good. Their legs are not bad scaly-minded. They have good weight to them. They feel good. They just got a few feathers missing, so they're nice. Somebody actually fed these here. Most of the time when you get them from the auction, you'll feel of them and they're just empty where they've not been fed for a day or 2, but these actually been fed, so these probably wasn't boxed up till earlier today. They're bright red headed. I mean, that's what we look at when we buy them from the auction. Before we get them, we watch them when they run them through, and we make sure that their heads are bright red and stuff, because there is some that comes through there that's sick. But those are probably the worst looking ones because of the feathers. You know, like that one there. She's been bred this year. She's missing some feathers, but she's got good weight to her. Her legs ain't scaly-minded. She's a fairly young hen. You know, if I had to guess, I would say these are some sort of a Rhode Island Red cross or such. The other ones are buffs and something else cross. These look like Rhode Island Red hens. No eggs in that one. The other box, I believe it has 3 hens in it, and I think they're the dark red ones as well. They actually come, yeah, they're the dark red ones as well. We actually bought these, the first 3, and then the next 2 was in the box, and they gave us the option to get them because they were the same kind. So these, all 5 probably came from the same place. They're not bad scaly legs at all. They have good weight to them. They're bright red headed and alert. They're not snotty nosed and sneezing. I mean, we'll run a little bit of antibiotics through them, and you know, the feathers will grow back. I'm not worried about feathers at all. Feathers grow back. Just like this one here, you know, she's missing feathers on her back where she's been in with a rooster. That's what happens when they're in with roosters. But this time of year, chickens lose feathers anyways. They molt. They change feathers. Every year, chickens do it when it starts getting hot. These feel really well. They've got good legs. I mean, they're not scaly-legged at all. They're bright red heads. I mean, they're pretty gentle. I mean, to be what they are, they're fairly gentle, pretty calm chickens. We'll put them in here. We'll give them food and water. This one's probably been setting because she sounds a little broody, but she's bright-headed. I mean, not sneezy at all. She, of course, like I said before, the feathers. But feathers grow back. They lose them every year. The chickens here on the yard, they lose their feathers every year. They'll lose all their wing feathers, their tail feathers. They lose everything. We call it changing feathers or molting. You have to boost the protein feed a little bit whenever they're molting to help with that. They're really sore. They get pin feathers in them. Where their new feathers grow back, they get pin feathers in them, and it makes them really sore. It's like a pin cushion. But these hens here, they have good weight to them and stuff. I don't think we did bad at all on these. We ended up with 5 of the Rhode Island Red style, and then we've got 2 of the other 2 that come together, and they were the one looks like a buff, maybe a cross in a buff because she's got some marks in her neck, and then the other one's a Rhode Island Red or a Rhode Island Red cross. Neither one of those was laying. So let's see. Now we'll stick the rabbits in here. We ended up with 5 rabbits. Let's see what we got here. This one here was marked as a buck. I don't know. Sometimes
the people don't look at them real well. He's a really nice one. Had a lot of good color. A really good looking rabbit. These should be fairly easy to sell whenever it comes time to sell them. The colors is what sales me. A lot of people likes colors, and he's got the Dalmatian spots in him. I mean, he's a really nice rabbit. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Let's see if I can tell here. Yep, it's a boy. But he's a nice one. We'll calm him down a lot before we sell him. A lot of our kids, they'll get them out and pet them, and our oldest daughter, Elizabeth, she likes to get in there and play with the rabbits more than anybody. So she's one that really likes to calm the rabbits down. I'm going to put him back in the box. These will go up to our rabbitry. We'll give them some water tonight, and then tomorrow they'll go up to our rabbitry. There's plenty of room in that box for him by himself. It won't hurt him at all. Let's see what we got in this one. There was one box that I had 3 in that I got a really good deal on. They said they were rabbits. They didn't even check them to see if they were males or females. They're really nice. I like them. I like the little brown one here. I've got some girls up there that looks like this little brown one. And they're really, really nice. I like them. Let's see what you are. That looks like a female to me. I like her. She may end up staying with us. This one here I like. I like the brown ones like that. Some people don't. I do. The gray ones, I'm not real fond of the gray ones. The kids like this style here, the broken. These are probably Rex mix. Come here. This one acts like it's scared to death. These probably haven't been handled a whole lot. But they'll get handled here. That may be a girl too. That's a nice one. If it'll calm down, that one will be an easy sale. Because people like those colors. They like the oddball colors like that. And then the gray ones, a lot of people don't like the gray colors, but I like them. In which we raise rabbits for meat. So, I mean, the color really doesn't bother me at all. Mia got lucky and gotten all 3 females. That one looks like a female to me, but I'm not an expert at it by no means whatsoever. We've only had rabbits for a couple years, and I'm just getting into sexing them, they call it. So I can't guarantee that they're boys or girls. Let's get the other ones here. We've got a couple other ones here that my wife wanted. She likes these. My uncle raises these, and he's not had any luck keeping the babies alive. They get up pretty good sized, and something happens to them. He just got bad luck like us. That buck over there smacking his foot. These are the fluffy bunnies, and they're fluffy. I don't know what they are. These are lion heads. There's 2 of them in there. Move this box over there. We'll set them out on the barrel together. They're a big old fluffy rabbit. These ain't meat rabbits at all. They're pets is what they are. But we got a good deal on them. The kids will enjoy them. So we'll see. We'll get them sexed up and see what we can do. These were more than likely brother and sister, but like I say, my uncle's got some lion heads, and he's got males and females down there that we can breed to these that is not related to them. So whenever we figure out what we have, we'll end up keeping a few and trying to breed them. We've tried to breed them before and just not had any luck with the lion heads. But my uncle, he can get them bred. I don't know what it is. he had one that he didn't know it was bred, and the person that sold them to him didn't tell him, and he had it in with a male and it had babies, and before he could get the male out of the cage, it was bred back, because as soon as the babies got weaned, it had another litter, and they all lived. I mean, he ended up selling them to people for pets, but he has good luck raising the lion heads. He breeds a lot of the Flemish Giants. I like the New Zealands. The Flemish Giants have a bigger bone structure. The New Zealands have just as much meat on them as the Flemish Giants. They don't look as big, but they don't have as big of bones. I think the little kitten is going to run in to get a rat. We've got this building here set up. We keep feed in it and keep chickens in it. We've actually got a tank set up here. We've been catching bait. We've got bluegills in here that we're going to use. Just a second, I'll get the net and get a few out. We're going to actually take these over to the river and see if we can't catch some big old flatheads with these. But we've got a pile of bluegill in here. I think there's about 50 of them in here so far. If I can catch any of them. There's a few little bluegills and a sucker. We've got a few suckers in there, but mostly bluegill. I think there's 50 bluegill in there, and I don't know, 4 or 5 big old sucker minnows that we caught the other day. We actually caught the sucker minnows on the hook. We usually go seining minnows and catch minnows to go fishing with. When we go fishing, we usually try to take a few hundred anyways, because we go through them. We set trot lines and bush hooks, and we do a lot. So we have to have a lot of bait when we go. And we bought these stock tanks off a fella for $40 a piece, and we were talking about getting them set up. We got one set up for our cows to drink out of, and we were talking about getting a bait tank set up to keep bait here at the house, so we don't have to rush the day before we go fishing and catch our bait before we go. And we set this up and stuck a couple bubblers in there, and that little filter. It's just a small filter, but it works great. We've had a few of the bluegill jump out. That's why we keep the wire on the top to kind of knock them back down in. The cats enjoy it though. They like to come in and catch rats, and they're not the friendliest cats to me. But the kids, they'll come up and play with the kids. They just don't like me, I guess, because they know that they're supposed to be working, not playing. But they do really well. They come in and catch rats and mice all the time. So that's what we got from the auction, and we'll see what we can do with this. We'll probably be in the garden most of the week if it's not raining. We'll try to make a few more videos of that, picking produce and stuff. And next Saturday, we're actually going to go up to the flea market, to the farm market, and set up and sell a few rabbits and some chickens. We've got several chickens out here running around that we're going to try to sell, and eggs and some beans and cucumbers and squash and so forth. But we'll keep everything posted on that, and we'll bring you along with us whenever we go. But if you like what you've seen, like and subscribe. Thank you.